This is the new American media.
Broadcasting to you, live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody, and welcome. It is Friday, and you know what that means. After the end of a long week, it's time for Agree to Disagree. I'm your host, Brian Engelman. Welcome to the program. This song playing in remembrance to my good friend Sean Flynn, bandmate, roommate, one of the main driving forces to help myself create this thing called the New American Media. He was the original co-host and producer of the program. You hear him drumming. He composed this whole song. Johnny Rabb, R-A-B-B, one of the best drummers on the planet, doing those solos right there. But it was 2 years ago yesterday when Sean died in a motorcycle crash. So, love out to you, Sean, and the rest of your friends and loved ones for sure. We're going to keep playing your music. Why? Because it's awesome. Why? Because you were awesome. But thanks for joining us here on Agree to Disagree. Thank you so much. We're going to bring in Blake Walley, Blake the Eccentric, in just a moment here. Going to tear through the craziest, most important stories that you might have missed throughout this week. But I just want to say that if you haven't connected with us on our other mediums, we want you to do that. It's very cool if you're listening to us live. Thank you. Awesome. Great. We love that, of course. Of course we do. But I want you to follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. That's American_media_. Check out our homepage, just kind of polished up, spit-shined a little bit. Our good friend Ted Distel of disteldesign.com, D-I-S-T-E-L, design.com, does a lot of animation. Check out the featured video on thenewamericanmedia.com. It is a video that Ted and his brother Doug completed called December Moon. It's a holiday song composed by their neighbor, and they did all the animation. It's really fantastic. Check it out. It's at thenewamericanmedia.com. It's on the top right featured video page. Please check that out. It's really neat. And if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, it's youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. And search for us on Facebook. Search The New American Media with spaces in between. And like our page. It's been a heck of a year, let me just tell you. And, I just want to, start to think what we're thankful for. We did that last week. I know the administration wanted us to talk to our family about why we're thankful for Obamacare, but nah, not so much. I got canceled from my plan. The president canceled my plan. Not too cool. So, moving forward, I am thankful for all of the people that have connected with us over the past 2.5 years, and I'm thankful to have known the people that have left us over my past lifetime, like Sean. Thanks for the memories. So let's get Blake on the program, shift gears just a little bit, go through the things we might have missed in the news this week. I always love this part.
Hello.
Good morning, Blake. You're live on Agree to Disagree. How you doing today, sir?
Wonderful, Brian. How are you?
Living the dream, of course.
Excellent.
Nothing ever changes. Same old stuff around here. But welcome to the program. Blake, everybody, is the host of a show called Eccentric Perspective. You can listen to him every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday on freedomizerradio.com, on the Freedomizer Radio Network. Over there, it's Eccentric Perspective. The podcast, where is that? That's on iTunes. Search Eccentric Perspective, and your homepage is eccentricperspective.com. Did I leave any modes of communication out? Oh, Twitter, Eccentric99, at Eccentric99. You're always finding good stories. So
that's the best place to find me. That's updated live every day. Otherwise, a big archive of radio shows at Blog Talk Radio by just, putting eccentric in the field and sorting everything by date, I suppose. Another way.
Very cool.
I'm around.
That is very cool, man. Well, hey, let's talk about the weekend news, shall we? After Thanksgiving, we all talked with our family about Obamacare. It was very good how I tried to sell them on how great it was that I was booted off my plan. And, I don't know which one you want to lead with. I've kind of prepped you with, because here's what I do for the listeners. I check out Blake's program. his Eccentric Perspective show, and I jot down notes of, wow, really, that story? Wow. What about, okay, we need to talk about that one. And there were a few that I queued you up to, but we only have you for a short amount of time today, so let's just get right into the meat of it. I'm not even going to steer you. Let's just pick whichever one you have at the top of your head, and let's get into it.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's see. We could discuss about, we talked about, the Obama talking points, healthcare talking points. You could deal with your conservative uncle for Thanksgiving. But, it looks like the youth since then is abandoning. They call them the Millenials, and they're now abandoning Obama and Obamacare. And now it's a majority of America's youngest adults would vote to recall the president.
Recall the president. Hey, we're bringing you back like California did a couple of years ago. What was that? Gray Davis, and then they brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just say, hey, you know what? Let's draft you back out of the White House and put anybody else in. Is that? I mean, that's kind of what they're saying. Are they saying they want to impeach him, or like specifically?
Not necessarily impeach, but things have fallen apart dramatically in the last year. Since we're only 1 year removed from the last election here. So you got Young America. This is a Ron Fornier article out of National Journal, who's been really on fire the last couple of months or so. The latest is saying young Americans are turning against Barack Obama and Obamacare, according to the new survey. People between 18 and 29 who are vital to the fortunes of the president and his signature health care law. Well, it's assuming the ones that don't get to stay on their parents' health care, I suppose. But even then, it says the most startling finding, and this is the Harvard University's Institute of Politics, I guess, conducted this survey. And, majority of Americans under 25, the youngest, would favor throwing Obama out of office. So, they're saying they're losing, millennials are losing touch with government and its programs because they believe government is losing touch with them. They are especially concerned, they're disillusioned with the U.S. political system, and of course, being that it's a kind of a social media generation, are very opposed to the government's domestic surveillance apparatus and drifting away from both parties, not necessarily the Democrats. But they're changing dynamics where we're used to seeing, young people, voting Democratic or for the Democrat Party. And, I think they even lowered the voting age at one point from 21 to 18 because they knew younger people tended to vote Democrat. But, this has been such a bad year for Obama that they can't even take it anymore. And now they're saying if they had to do it over, they would redo it and more, of course, disapprove than approve. So he's down about 11 points from last year. So things are changing. Well,
let me ask you then this. Let me ask you this then. I got that backwards. To what do you attribute this to? There's a litany of red flags and warnings and really what I feel are just unconstitutional acts and impeachable crimes and misdemeanors that have been attributed to this administration and previous administrations as well. But what do you think is mainly to blame for this turnaround among the youth who were enamored by this dear leader figure, and now they're completely turned off by both parties?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably mostly I'm going to guess the surveillance apparatus as one of the key things they're talking about, because I don't really know exactly where they stand, on like scandals and stuff like that, or Obamacare they might not have to worry about so much. This group, just because, they can stay on their parents until they're 26 or whatever. So I would assume that it's probably mostly that. They're knowing that they're, looking at their phone calls or their text messages or, their Twitter or Facebook activities. So I'm guessing that would be the primary reason, but I can only take a guess there.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I mean, it is a changing political landscape, and the whole Obamacare debacle. I mean, it's still not fixed. It's still not finished, and even if the site is working, it's not secure. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is the next step here for this administration. I mean, really, what is it? Just to switch topics, to switch gears and talk about $15 minimum wage and talk about let's make 11 to 30 million people legal residents who can then get free Obamacare. I mean, like, that's the topic. Like, they're not going to address these huge hovering debacles known as the NSA and Obamacare. I mean, what is next for them, do you think?
Well, they cling on to any distraction that they can. I love to follow I have a big group of people I follow on Twitter that are just the diehard fanatics of Obama. And what I've seen, like, today as a distraction, I guess. Not really a distraction, but of course, Nelson Mandela died, and that is a big deal, and he was a good man on a lot of things. But they're, of course, complaining about all the racism from the right who dare criticize Mandela. You've got some of the left-wing hack bloggers talking about they're cherry-picking comments off of Breitbart or the Daily Caller and talking about all the right-wing haters and racists that are happy Mandela died or that dare criticize them. So.
Now what are they saying that for? I've been reading stuff where they're linking Nelson Mandela to the necklaces where they'd tie people up and put old tires around them, light it and fill them with gasoline and light them on fire, a slow, painful death. I'm not really sure. I am not a Nelson Mandela
I don't know
expert.
much. I don't know a ton about him. I don't have a dog in the fight. Apparently, there's been some good, and like as you said, I also read that there is some bad as well. So. Say that about a lot of people. So I'm willing to give Nelson Mandela the benefit of the doubt that he was overall a more of a decent guy. And maybe the thing with you talking about with the setting people on fire, I think that was his wife's idea, but I'm not 100%.
All right. Well, what about this concern that people are having about the balance of power going on in Washington? There were some hearings this past week, and there were people talking about, well, an overthrow of government if things don't change. Executive orders, really just that the president's choosing to pick and, he's picking and choosing which laws to enforce and which ones not to enforce. That was a topic of conversation this week, and I think we're going to hear more and more and more and more of it to come if this administration keeps acting this way.
Yeah, I can give you a few hits on that. Speaking of Ron Fornier, I don't know if I can have his name down. But this one is out of Newsbusters right here from Ron here that says the Obama administration is a propaganda outfit running a government-sponsored media organization, not mincing any words. So, it's becoming quite clear that the Obama administration's treatment of the press, along with revelations of deceit associated with promises about the Affordable Care Act, are causing members of the media to think differently about this White House than they did in the first term. So you've got a big major journalist coming out and saying this whole thing is a propaganda outfit. And just to do some quick hits, you've got media attacks Obama's Soviet-style publicity policy because he's controlled there. He's got his own personal photographer, and so the regular rest of the press is getting angry that they can't take pictures of the president, and it's very carefully controlled, and they're making a lot of comparisons to like Stalin or just Soviet style. You've got another reporter, big article from this came from Bob Franken, who dropped kind of a bombshell on MSNBC by telling that the Obama administration was the most hostile to the media in United States history.
In history.
So he says
even Grover Cleveland?
Yeah,
I know. I'm just throwing names out there.
Certainly. I mean, it's gotten worse with every administration, and I think that's what he basically says. He says, going into the Justice Department, how they've made, going against the press, probably not going to be on MSNBC much anymore. Very controlled the way they put out the news, and of course, you can't really criticize the press or criticize like the president and stuff, and be a part of the White House press corps or hold a job with your left-wing media. So it's gotten pretty cartoonish, but there's also,
But you know what? Hold on. Pause right there. Keep pausing that part of the article, because I mean, you can't work in the administration, in the government apparatus, and alert the world to constitutional violations like Edward Snowden did, like Glenn Greenwald did, like and they're trying to try Glenn Greenwald for treason. I'm sure being nudged and urged at the behest of the United States government.
Yeah, he can't even come into the country. He's afraid of even coming back to the United States. Of course, he's out of Brazil. So, I mean, that should tell you that's exactly what's going on. And his partner was shaken down in Heathrow Airport in England or London.
Yeah, that's right. So the First Amendment is fine as long as you're putting things into a positive light. Otherwise, you're James Rosen and you're getting your information hacked.
Right. Exactly. Or Cheryl Atkinson. They're digging into her computer. Her computer is turning on in the middle of the night because how dare they talk about Fast and Furious or Benghazi or try to actually do investigative journalism. So that's when you become enemies with the administration, and then they tap your phone. And now as the Greenwald and Snowden revelations are turning out more and more, you're just finding out the big scope of the whole NSA, spying on pretty much everywhere, everything. So far, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. Only 1% of the information has actually been published so far.
Well, that's fantastic. But
right.
I mean, so the balance of power. I mean, it's something going on where people are questioning. Why are you enforcing? You can't change laws. That's what Congress does. You can't choose to not enforce certain things in immigration. Like you can't pick and choose. He's trying to change what the presidency means, and I guess every president does that. You just do whatever you feel like doing until you're told you can't. And this president has run into that a lot lately.
Oh, absolutely. So just to continue, I said I was going to buzz around. I got two more for you, even it's probably the two biggest ones that are the most relevant. Huge articles this week. Both of them have over 2,000 tweets apiece. One of them's out of Mediaite, says, expert testifies to Congress that when presidents ignore the laws, so will the public. This was Michael Cannon of the Cato Institute, Director on Health Policy Studies, testified before a congressional committee about the dangers of the president's legal behavior. And he is quoted here as saying, there is one last thing to which the people can resort if the government does not respect the restraints that the Constitution places on the government. He goes and he says, Abraham Lincoln talked about our right to alter our government or our revolutionary right to overthrow it. And saying this is certainly something that no one wants to contemplate, but if the people come to believe that the government is no longer constrained by the laws, then they will conclude that neither are they. This is a dangerous sort of thing for the president to do, to ignore the laws and to try to impose obligation upon people that the legislature did not approve.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, there are no laws if they're not enforced, so it's a free-for-all. Have at it.
Yeah, he seems to just ignore Congress, thinks he can do whatever he wants, and that, he can't say anything. I guess you can't impeach him because they control the Senate, so he's just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until people just say, enough. This is, we have to have a redress of grievances. This is, you're not supposed. And just to tie that up, the one last one here was out of Real Clear Politics. This is from Jonathan Turley, a professor, a constitutional professor, who says, let's see here, just to give you the Representative Bob Goodlatte asked him a question saying, Professor Turley, the Constitution, the system of separated powers is not simply about stopping one branch of government from usurping another. It's about protecting the liberty of Americans from the dangers of concentrated government power. How does the president's unilateral modification of acts of Congress affect both the balance of power between the political branches and the liberty interests of the American people? And to which the professor said, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The danger is quite severe. The problem with what the president is doing is that he's not simply posing a danger to the constitutional system. He's becoming the very danger the Constitution was designed to avoid.
Wow.
That is the concentration of power in every single branch. So, yeah, there's another big bombshell. And, of course, yeah, you're not going to see that coming from the left-wing media, because how dare anybody dare criticize Dear Leader? Instead, you'll probably just hear about how Turley and Goodlatte are a bunch of racists. So it's really gotten that absurd. But yeah, exciting times to watch the news, Brian.
Yeah, I would say so. Did you happen to catch where President Obama said that his dream job would be working for ESPN? Yes.
That was earlier this week, too, a couple of times. I've got one right here out of InfoWars from Kurt Nimmo, who says that Obama's dream job is to be the ESPN teleprompter reader, and he says we can only hope Obama decides to take an early retirement. So, it depends. There's a lot of, former presidents and big politicians that have to, once their terms are over, they go perhaps maybe into the private sector. Well, I don't know if easily. Who knows? They go into different areas to stay busy, I suppose. But Obama actually wants to, work for ESPN. That's his big dream job. Let me see what I can find. So back on November 26th, when Obama was courting his liberal allies in Hollywood, most notably his top supporter, Jeffrey Katzenberg, he made his dream job intentions known prior to his speech on the Glendale campus, according to the Hollywood Reporter. And they talked about piracy to Iran. And then Obama revealed what's at the top of his bucket list post-White House. And he says, "At least I know what I want to do when I retire. Host ESPN SportsCenter's Top 10 list." Obama quipped as he turned to Disney's Robert Iger, whose empire includes ESPN. So I guess he went right to the top and asked the guy, basically, indirectly, "Hey, when I retire, hey, Robert, hey, maybe, I don't know."
Making a plug, making a pitch. Just kind of like,
right.
Hey, buddy, I want to do that. So what, he just wants to host the Top 10 and be done, or he wants to be the host?
I'm sure it would probably go on past that.
Well, you know what? I mean, for a man that reads a teleprompter so much, do you think he has a teleprompter in the shower to practice, or like to think? Do you think like when he closes his eyes and has a dream, he's seeing a teleprompter, being told what to say? I mean, in a way, it's almost like the quintessential robot. You put in the programming code. You write the software to compete with to connect with the hardware, and it's just like, yes, what do I do today? Yes, immigration, working wage, $15 an hour, evil GOP, fiscal cliff.
Yeah, everything's very scripted. I don't know, exactly what his role is. I've heard apparently that's one of his big things is he likes to just watch SportsCenter all day. So I don't know. For all I know, we just has to practice the speeches and come out. Like I said, it's all very, very scripted and controlled. He doesn't have to answer very many tough questions. He's rarely off the teleprompter. So yeah, it's they say it's kind of like a Soviet type of system here, where the media is all controlled, or at least they're trying to on that side, and they're keeping their people in the dark. But I don't know. I think maybe we'd have all been better off if Obama never became president. And he just was an ESPN guy. Who knows? Maybe we'd both like him. Hey, did you see Obama on SportsCenter? That was pretty funny stuff that he had to say. I have no idea, but I think maybe he would regret that. Do you think? If he could do it all over again, would he just rather be a low-key, liked guy on SportsCenter and on a couple of their little funny commercials and such, instead of being criticized worldwide and under the fire?
No.
Okay.
No, I think Valerie Jarrett keeps him pretty well shielded from all that crap.
Yep. She talks about how smart he is and how great he is, and people just don't understand his brilliance. And
he's never been challenged intellectually in his life. Uh-huh.
Right.
You pass the bill to find out what's in it. Yeah. Well, and those are your minions. I guess it's not very challenging. I mean, Do you think Keith Olbermann and Barack Obama could start their own network?
Oh man, that would be interesting. I don't know if they would actually get along very well or not. That's that would be the bigger question, I suppose. So
I don't know. I'll tell you what. I do like Olbermann on his new show. I do enjoy it. But man, his politics are just so grating to my ear. And I guess people can probably relate. Maybe they're into my sports, and they for the unhappy hour, the sports show that I do, maybe they hate my politics and vice versa. But I don't know. I love blending sports and politics. I wish we could do more of that, really.
Yeah, I don't know what he's been up to actually lately. I think he was a pretty smart, interesting sports analyst back in the day, and he was like a voice of reason during the Bush-Cheney years when he, it was one of the probably only person I could tune into that seemed to be sane as a newsman. During the the horrible Bush-Cheney administration. Now, I don't know exactly. I don't. He's been off MSNBC for a while. Apparently, it'd be difficult to work with. So I don't know if I'd like him now because I don't know if he'd be just rah cheerleader for Obama or where he stands now. So.
Yeah, I think the answer is of course he would. Well, that would be my guess. But maybe I should get Keith Olbermann on the program. Maybe I should bring him on the Unhappy Hour, or agree to disagree for that matter. Have him for 2 hours, talk sports, and then flip him over and talk politics.
Yeah, I'd be curious what his policies stand now. Now that we've flipped everything around. So now we're back in the day where I just hated Fox and I hated Bush Cheney. Now I can't stand Obama, and they've basically kind of switched sides. And now I hate MSNBC. So. Yeah, and now Fox looks actually reasonable, like a voice of reason, when compared to the left-wing media. So very interesting.
Fantastic. All right. Well, then we don't have you for much longer. Do you have anything else sitting on your radar? Any other interesting stuff we want to buzz past people?
Boy, what did we miss? There was definitely a lot of interesting police state news this week that's been kind of under the radar. Just today it's come out that Homeland Security is doing searching vehicles at a ferry crossing checkpoint. You've got airports set to install new detention pods, so you can't make a clean exit. You've got to go through these little bubbles before you can are allowed to leave. You've got a new spy satellite with some weird octopus engulfing the world as a logo on there. I mean, they're kind of throwing stuff in your face. I know there was a couple other ones. I know there's a lot of interesting news on this week. Let me see. I've got DHS Googling travelers before they enter the U.S. Some lady got stopped because she had a mental health issue from Canada, so they wouldn't let her come into the United States.
Yeah, and that's interesting because how did they get that information if there's doctor-patient confidentiality, and which is one of my reason number 163 why I don't want Obamacare. I don't want the government in charge of the health industry, the healthcare profession. That's confidential information. How did she get stopped?
Yeah, I guess they have their own access to things, and you can only imagine it's going to get worse as Obamacare is, part of the government. So they will know everything about everybody everywhere, and then you have this big security state, which is pretty alarming to say the least. And you've got we've got TSA expanding searches of parked cars at airports. They even have a sign up by the airport saying all cars will be searched by uniformed security as mandated by TSA. So, yeah,
wow.
It's getting there, real bad.
Yeah, maybe if I had a little bit more foresight, I could have bought that Prison Planet website. It seems in hindsight that it's like every day you get closer and closer to this whole place just being one big prison. This bugs me, man.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and so hopefully there's going to be pushback. I mean, they did kind of. They got rid of the original awful scanners at the airport, but they're just putting new stuff in, and now they got these detention pods, and Yeah, they're still working on some very odd things. So I don't know where this all goes before people, like as they say, as the Cato Institute guy, or other constitutional scholars, or Ron Fornier, we're starting to call this all out. Well, when do we redress grievances? When do we perhaps call for impeachment? When do we stop this madness here and start to reverse this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Before it gets totally out of control.
I don't know, Blake, but that's why you do your radio show, so you can follow this stuff on a weekly basis. Take a second, tell everybody where they can tune into you so that before things fall out of control, the people can at least be edumacated on the process.
Well, yeah, if you want to get educated in a hurry, the best place to find me would be...
Hold on. I got to interrupt that. That's good. That should be your next commercial on the Freedomizer Radio Network. If you want to get educated in a hurry, tune in to Eccentric Perspective. All right, sorry, I talked over you.
Right.
Please continue.
No,
I just like that.
Actually, not tune in. Well, you could tune into my show. That'd be great. But I think the best place to find me it'd be on Eccentric99 on Twitter, because I have a timeline just full of basically article highlights. I update it almost every day, at least every weekday for sure. And it's all the the articles. I spend hours every day, at least 3 hours a day, studying, reading articles, and little YouTube clips and such. So if you want to find a lot of stuff on the news, like condensed highlights, that would be a great place to go check out stuff. So get caught up in a hurry.
Excellent. And, of course, go to Freedomizer, FREEDOMIZER. Was it freedomizerradio.com?
Yep, two words, freedomizerradio.com.
Every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Eccentric Perspective. Well, Blake, looks like we're just about out of time here, so thank you for letting us know all these wonderful stories. I didn't even get a chance to talk about Kelly Thomas. I'm going to have to do like a separate segment, but Kelly Thomas was that homeless man that was beaten to death by two pig Fullerton, California cops. Well, actually, many, many more were on top of him, crushing him, but these are the guys that were going way overboard. It does not take that many people to handcuff a guy and arrest him if you want to do that. I didn't really see what the guy was doing wrong besides existing. And anyway, we'll cover the Kelly Thomas story. They're on trial, way overdue. Just really looking forward to justice being done in this case, but we'll have to talk about it some other time since we're out of time here. Blake, thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a great weekend. We'll be talking with you again soon. All right, pal?
All right, thanks, Brian. You too. Have a good one.
You too. Peace.
All right, later.
There he goes. That's Blake the Eccentric Walley, everybody. Thank you very much for checking out the program. We're going to do a quick turnaround here, and we're going to be back on the other side. We are going to bring in Zach Barris. He's an NBA scout and a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. We're going to talk about the Indians, Cavs, the Browns, the Buckeyes, and we're going to do that on our show, The Unhappy Hour. Yes, that's what we do here at thenewamericanmedia.com. Do us a favor, check out thenewamericanmedia.com, our homepage. Check out our, what are we at? I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. 617 subscribers and 130-something thousand video views over at youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Please check that one out. Dig around, whether it's sports or consciousness or finance or politics. We have a lot of videos there. I think you'll enjoy it. Search us on Facebook. We put different content on different sites, so don't just check out the show. Check out all of the stuff. Search The New American Media on Facebook and like our page. We'd appreciate that. And you can also follow us on Twitter. We're at American_media_. I'm your host, Brian Engelman, and we'll be right back on the other side with, you guessed it, NBA scout Zach Barris.
You are listening to The New American Media.